everybody, Jerome Wright here once again, and once again you're joining me on my Jerome Wright YouTube channel. Okay, in this video, I'm going to be decoding through my paranormal experience and encounter the Yellow Submarine Beatles album cover. Okay. As we all know that anytime I tune into something to bring you a video, it is actually referencing that of an ancient cult-like scenario where a cauldron-like process takes place, where it's actually talking about a melting pot down of existing genes and creating of new genes. Okay, for example, in this Beatle Yellow Submarine's album cover, which is very controversial, and I like dealing with controversial stuff, by the way. It actually details how mankind was genetically altered from a certain point, and then they contributed to the process and then went about to the locations that they went to genetically contaminate others. I know it sounds kind of impossible, but you know, in these scenarios, you know, this here, if you look at it, it kind of reminds you of something dealing with, you listen, the Last Supper. You always have two sides, and it shows you how you got an animal and a witch-like woman, by the way, here on a pig's body. You see that almost looking like an African woman, an African witch woman, but she's blue, got the marks on her face, and a pig representing a woman pulling this guy along. And this here is the captain. He's got his hand pointing that way. Okay, that's on this side. Now, when we come over to this side over here, we got a hand pointing in. And then what's interesting is you have this man of color image, okay? And you see him coveted with the genetics of the reptile, the reptilian. This represents the snake. And he's there, and what is he doing? He's pointing upward, like they do in a lot of your religious Renaissance images. He's pointing upward. You know what that's indicating? That there's a genetic brew, a genetic cocktail here, and there's an extraction of the black gene, which is taken out. And that's why this guy is standing, man of color, at this point. That's why he's standing there and stating, I'm out of this. Everybody else is pointing in. I'm in. I'm in. Over here, I'm in. I'm in. Down here. Look, you got one hand here, white hand pointing in. Blue hand here pointing in. I'm in. And then you got this other blue hand down here pointing in. I'm in. And then the black hand is pointing up saying, I'm out. So what is there not to understand about that? It's a genetic cocktail of altering our genes from their original origins, which calls for later likenesses of our Caucasian counterparts. These people are no different. It's in fact that anybody that is famous, and then they start making these bizarre images and bizarre music, they are all guilty of this same thing. And this is why I can take down any icon in the world based on my findings. And I haven't even got to the Yellow Submarine yet. We're going to get that in 1 minute. But, you know, it's amazing that people pretend not to see this, and then it's there. It's right in your face. Let me talk to you about the Yellow Submarine, because that is a unique vessel. It is a vessel in itself, people. It is a vessel. Okay? A vessel that travels in liquid mass. Here's another close-up of it on paper there. Okay, I'm going to bring it up in paper, give you an idea. All right. Now, what is that Yellow Submarine representing? Well, if they're guilty as charged, which they are, because it's about mixing of colors. You see one of his pants legs is white and the other one is brown. They're saying that they bridged over with our ape and African ancestors. This is what this is all about. And so they're telling you that they genetically altered themselves. So this Yellow Submarine, which is very famous one, becomes a genetic altering device. Is they're talking about this being a vessel of change, of genetic change. So all you have to do from there is, and hold on before we go there. All you have to do from there is here's another picture of that of that yellow submarine again up close. I printed all these pictures, so I might as well. So what is the yellow submarine representing? The yellow submarine represents stem cells. Here's bone marrow stem cells here. See that? That's bone marrow stem cells there. Look at these. Look at the stem cells. Look at this, people. Look at the concept and the idea of it, and then look at the yellow submarine. Look at this. Look at the blood. Look all of this, people. Look here. Then the strands with the bulb on the head. No submarine has no 4 telescopes. Telescopes. This has 4. So I'm gonna go to another image. Hold on, people, because it gets better. Now those bulbs at the top, these are created stem cells. To give you an idea, and I have some other stem cells I'm gonna bring in too. See how these little bulbs on the end, they have like a mouth on them, and they're holding like a little egg on the end, right there. Right there. Well, people, that's the same thing that is here. Oh, if I can get that. That is not no telescope lens. If you look at the so-called lens, there's a red bulb on there. A stem cell. You see that, people? So there was never no big secret about what they're doing. Here's another image, a close-up image. You see that? This is a reference of stem cells, the yellow submarine, which was concocted and created through royalty from the area from which these individuals are from. And it's a genetic contamination process where people were being contaminated. And I'm going to show you directly another famous group whom this group contaminated. Now, just hold on because it gets better. Here's another image of the stem cells. And there's a yellow vessel there. You see those little yellow dots there, and the brown in the middle, and the red on the outside, and all of that? You see that? Well, don't that look identical to what you see there, people? This is stem cells. This is what is being talked about, cells. They are talking about a genetic vessel, and they're commemorating the time that they created a genetic change. Now, let's talk about that submarine some more. That submarine is a device known to be a controlled device. It sails the waters and goes wherever it wants to go. A nuclear sub, and it's armed and it's dangerous. That's what we know as submarines, okay? Especially from back in their time. Because we didn't have submarines back in that day, pretty much for exploring and luxury of time. They were devices like guns. Here, they have their submarine. You see their green apples? Now, in all of the movies we know about, like Snow White and this, I mean, she's given a green apple to eat, and it has poison in it. Again, people, a reference of contaminants and gene altering, genetic altering. Now, who's getting this? You see this? Well, over here, they have a monkey in a chair with a blue mask on. Okay? You see that? Showing you that that monkey's been contaminated. Now, you see what that monkey's doing? Because this gets real deep, people. This is where I take a big change. Is that a Sambo looking character? No. Okay. You see the typewriter that monkey's at? The monkey is typing ABC, then it skips over D and it goes to F. ABC, it's easy as 1, 2, 3, do, re, mi, ABC. Ah, okay. The Jackson 5. Now what in the hell do they have to do with this? Well, this is all indicating genetic contamination, genetic creation of genes, stem cells, and then contaminating of others. Look at that typewriter. Now that it has ABC on it, referencing the Jackson 5, that's their song around that time. Then look at the register, the design makeup of the register. When I seen that register, when I seen the ABC, I thought of the Jackson 5. But when I saw that register, I thought of the Jackson 5 too, because those that clothes design from the is from the kind of clothes, the shirts that they wore and the pants that they actually wore. So all I have to do now is Google an image of the design that's on that cash register with one of the many either cartoon appearances or regular appearances that the Jackson 5 made, and see if I get a hit. So you have their ABC lyrics up on this typewriter. Okay, now mind you that it goes ABC. Oh, it do have the D and the F, excuse me there, because I thought that it skipped over the D and the F. But it does have the D and the F, but it has the D and the F discombobulated. It has the ABC right up top there for you to see. And then they discombobulate it. They separate it. But when I seen the ABC, I knew that was a reference of the Jackson 5. And I'm going to tell you something about that soon. But then the cash register was a hit for me, because you know why? Because the design of that is the fashion design of the Jackson 5 clothing. But hold on, because I want to tell you something. Oh, let me show you where I got a hit at. The shirt, and I don't believe that this is Michael that I'm going to show you, is similar to what is being worn by one of the younger Jacksons right there. That's the design that's on that register, on that cash register. Now, I don't believe this is Michael, because it looks like there's two little younger siblings in the back. So I'll leave them up for them to disclose who that is. All right. So this is an indication of genetic contamination with Michael. Now check this out, though. Let's go back to this. Now, mind you, this is a Yellow Submarine. So it's a controlled vessel that can be steered. Now, I'm telling you that it represents genes and genetics based on these cells in here. And these are stem cells coming out of the top, being the microscopes. That's why it has 4 of them. They're stem cells. Now, these beetle legs are down here showing you that they're lined up like if this thing is their projectile. This is their penis. Showing you that we're loaded. We're locked and loaded. These are the torpedoes. We're locked and loaded with this stuff, and we're shooting it, and it has this thing aimed at that monkey, which are blacks. In this case, I'm telling you the Jackson 5. Because it's stating A, B, C, and then the register is the clothing. Now wait till it gets better, people, because there's something else that I can show you that authenticate what I just now said. Now, because here's a larger picture of that. So if you Google the images of the Jackson 5, there's that shirt again down there on that little Jackson. I don't know who that Jackson is, so if anybody knows, y'all can just add it here. Now, this is where it gets deep, people. So just bear with me. This is where it gets deep. Oh, by the way, stem cells, by the way, they're signifying by this being the submarine. The Yellow Submarine signifies controlled and directed, created stem cells. The submarine represents a military-like action, meaning firing torpedoes, projectiles, the same way a penis would, in the direction. It also represents control, meaning control of that missile projectile that comes out, and control of what is in it, contained therein, something that was created and put in there. So again, if this is that vessel that I'm telling you, created stem cells and genes. A blast out of this from that, now we have a penis too, a projectile coming out of that, the targeted area will be genetically altered in a controlled way. And that's what this is stating. Now, people, you're probably saying, well, if all this is going on, how come people's not getting sick and how come people not changing right off the bat? Well, this thing has been going on since ancient history, all throughout mankind's history. And that's what the big hush hush and secret is. People, look at this on a scale of if this was like AIDS. AIDS had been around for damn near 15 or 20 years before they finally realized what it is. It has an incubation period, meaning that whatever's done here may not show up until 2014. This is the problem with this. There's an incubation period. Then there's different types of strands on how it affects certain people and don't affect other people. This is what's going on. These chemists, meaning our ancient rooted royalty and our ancient rooted religion, they have perfected a science in this, in altering genes and stem cells and using mules such as the Beatles, such as Michael Jackson, and such as many others that are referenced, and they reference it in art on how they done it. And it's always about taking a furtherance of extraction of that of the black gene, and it shows you a reptilian bridging where they're contaminated and it's going out. And not just black genes, people of color. Whether you're Asian, if you're other than white, and in some cases the whites are being targeted, to be totally honest with you, because the only people that is benefiting from this are those that know what they so-called think that they're doing, and that is ancient rooted religion and ancient rooted royalty. So even these guys who are sacrificers and mules have no idea to what they're doing. So now once all of this takes place, they contaminate themselves, they subject themselves to this. Then they got to turn around and do the same with their kids, because now we have miracle babies, supposedly. And this is what this is all about. The creation of these genes, these genetics, and contamination, and then creating by babies of what has happened with you. And then your baby must be subjected to it. And this is why these people go to a larger than life stature. And I can show you, I just showed you the video on Michael Jackson. The same exact thing on what's going on with his Dangerous album cover, where it's mirrored and creates all of these. I just broke it down and showed you what his Dangerous album represented. The same exact thing is being stated here. These guys are from Great Britain. They're British, and this is all a symbolic message. This is the procedure of those that are ancient rooted in British. This is how they get down. Like this here. Genetic altering, change of mankind's genes, genetic being. All right, let me show you something else. The next image I want to bring up. Oh, here's that sub right here with the telescope again. I'm going to show you that I'm holding it up. Let me bring these clowns up here, and and you can see this for what it is. They're even carrying a sub on land. You know what they're saying? Look, everybody, we genetically sacrificed ourselves. We created a new gene, stem cells, and now utilizing this yellow submarine, we're indicating that we're going out to contaminate the rest of the fucking world. And you stupid bastards that's buying our albums and getting us rich and famous don't even know we're coming out to destroy you genetically. Thank you, the Beatles. All right. The Revolver album. Here's an image. The Revolver album cover. If you Google that image, again, another bizarre album cover. I'm gonna bring it up here on the big screen if I can get it up. You don't see a black face on there. There it is there. You don't see a black face in here. And in fact, if you go up to the top, like right there, this guy right here, that Beatle got that Gilligan's haircut. On each side of his head, it almost looks like a monkey. On each side, his hair looks distorted. Okay? And you see all these faces hidden there. Then even over here, this Beatle, he has a black ear with a monkey like sitting on there. And then he has a black ear with, look, a snake object coming out and sucking on that black ear. So what do you mean? What do you think is happening if you have a piece of a snake-like object coming out, a worm-like creature coming out and sucking on that black ear? What do you think that means? It means that somebody was sucking somebody that was black, and it was a monkey, meaning ape and African. Look, as a child, meaning that this person is genetically bridged with that person and is showing that person as a child. But in a monkey sense, a black monkey. That's why the ear is black. So when you Google that, is you seeing that? Where am I? Right here? Yeah. So you're seeing that. So when you Google the Revolver album cover, look at that and tell me, why does he has a black ear and then another piece of a worm coming out and sucking on that? Meaning, indicating that this joker here sucked the semen or drank the sperm of a black individual and describing him as being a monkey sitting on a what you call it? A baby monkey, not no full grown monkey, a baby monkey. Now, this is where this takes a strange twist, people. This is going to take a strange twist, and then I'm gonna go out of this. If you take this image and download an app where it allows you to do overlayments of an image, and then you rotate it like on a protractor, it creates dimensional images and shows you the truth about this album, Beatles album cover. I'm going to show you what is going to shock you here. My friend Mike has just sent this to me, and thanks to him, I believe that Michael is speaking to me through the grave. I swear I do. And because I told you, he told me the other day that his kids were in danger. To warn them. He started to say a name, and then the name went away. All right. So let me move this out the way. And there's no way that I will be being able to do all of this. There's no way. Everything is lined up for me to bring this to you. I have a guy, he's a friend of mine. And by the way, his name is Mike. Am I here? Right there. When this image is mirrored and brought together, it brings a black face in the middle. And that face has an afro. It's a black face, and it's one of the Jacksons. I don't know if it's Michael or not, because they all look alike. Where's the image of the Jacksons here? They all do look alike. So I do not know if that is Michael or whom. I don't know who it is, but it's definitely one of them. My friend Mike, when he sent me the image, he said he sees Michael at the top. I don't know how old Michael would have been at this time, at the time of this album cover. But it is definitely one of the Jacksons that is up there. So if you mirror, meaning, because you can see the mirror lines here. Let me back out. If you mirror the image, one of the Jacksons will come up there, afro and all. You see it? Oh, I forgot to mention the cross, and I didn't get that other image up here. I might want to bring that other image up here too, because there's a cross too that they have. Because this image is not it. I might be able to go. You start seeing a totem pole of faces. Look down here. There's a pig there, a lion there. Okay, this looks like a tiger there. You see the totem pole, and it shows coming down off the beetle from down here. Now look, and then it's talking about black bridge or white bridged over black, and there's the white beetle face down there, and then there's the black Jackson face up there. Cross-referencing of genes, and this cocktail, cauldron of cocktails, showing you how it was actually done. So you have two famous music groups. From almost approximate area of time. And you know, we all know how well Michael Jackson was loved in Great Britain, and how I just showed you the image the other day about him and the kings and queens going up the queen's skirt, over there at the king's lap, indicating of these genes and genetics being passed around. I just did a video. As a matter of fact, I did 3 videos for Michael Jackson. And here I am back today, thanks to my friend Mike, with another amazing video about the Beatles and their Yellow Submarine, representing stem cells. A genetic vessel, a controlled genetic vessel of stem cells that they're genetically altering mankind's with. I'm going to see if I can get this up there. Let me see if I can bring this in closer, and I'm going to show you people so y'all can see. This is a mirrored image of the Beatles+Revolver album, and I'm going to go in as close as I can, and I'm going to get it up there to that Jackson face. Now keep in mind, this is a mirrored image, people, a mirrored image, and it creates one of the faces of the Jackson 5s up there. I'm going to, where we at? I can't see from here because I'm blinded. I'm going to hold it there, and I'm hoping that you're going to be able to, yeah, I can see it from here. See that Jackson 5 face there up in the top? That's a Jackson, people. There's no way that I can do that twice. There's no way that I can do that twice. We have it on the register, an implication of it on that register in the cartoon. In the cartoon, and then in the mirrored image, on the register, don't forget, there's the color design of the Jackson's shirt there. And then we have the monkey typing ABC. Their song lyrics. Now, again, that register is not supposed to be having. How am I tying the Jackson? Then this is what the register, the design of that register is the clothing. That 70s style look of clothing. What is that doing on that register, and what is the Jackson's lyrics doing on that monkey typing it out? Why is a monkey even typing ABC on a register? Hold it. Why is a monkey even typing that with a blue mask on in the first place? Why am I even able to make the connection like this? Now, I bet you when the Jackson's family think back on all of this, they're going to be able to say that this is why the Beatles, or why the king or queen, or why somebody kept insisting that their children be around these Beatles or be in a royal palace. Guarantee you that the Jackson family, as thinking back on this, and the other Jacksons, I know why. This could have had cause for the broke up of the group while they were trying to single them away, get Michael away. This could have been everything. But now all of the possibilities and everything that I'm saying and stating, everything, I bring understanding to that family, because now they will be able to say, well, this explains why Michael insisted upon buying the rights to such and such, or doing this, that, the third. This is why Michael hated them afterwards. This is why Michael did this. This is why Michael did that. This is why our family, and this is why Tito this is why Jermaine that. All of this stuff, as they reflect back, the kings and queens that invited y'all to their houses and to their palaces were witches and warlocks by design that was genetically altering your children. It's stated here, and it's stated on the message board. It's in Michael's album cover, Michael Jackson's album covers. It's all over. It's a cauldron cult-like practice. This is why Michael is speaking to me from his grave, and I tell you that it's the God's honest truth. Michael's speaking to me, and he says that his children are in danger. I understand why. Because Michael would not turn them over to what is happening here. Those were not Michael's children to begin with. When Michael signed on an allegiance, a pact with them, and possibly even too young to even know what he was doing, possibly to know, but to stay in power with money, Michael sold out not only himself, but a good part of his worship, followers as well too, because this chemistry calls for people to engage in sex partners that they don't want to engage in. It calls for contamination. I can imagine these guys sleeping with women all over the places, specifically with prostitutes, making sure their DNA get into these prostitutes, a contamination, and taking these prostitutes and putting them back on the street where these Johns take these contaminated genes back to legitimate families. All of this, people, this cycle is how America became the melting pot for these genetic chemistries and these warfares on us. This is what's going on. America is the wasteland for a genetic contamination of all mankind's being. There was something else that I was actually going to be looking at here. And what else was it? There was another image. Let me go back into my mailbox. Let me see if I can go into my mailbox, because there was a cross symbol. Oh, you know what? There's a cross symbol here too. Alright, there's a cross symbol here. Here at the top, you see that cross? On each leg of that cross is one of the Beatles. You know what that means? That there was cross-reference. With what? What was they cross-reference with? Down below that, it says love. That's a crown. It creates a ring like a crown, showing you ancient rooted religion and ancient rooted royalty. This is what this is a symbolization of, saying that they were cross-contaminated. This is what this is showing you, people. All of their album covers, look at them for what they truly are. A symbolization of genetic changing of mankind's being. Look at my videos here, people. And when you look at this for what it is, these symbolic messages that they have in there, look at my videos. You can make the connections with our other artists' artwork, which is that like Rembrandt. Look at surrealist art, because this is almost like on a level of surrealist art. Look at Salvador Dali's art, Picasso's artwork, the music playing instruments, all of that with the sound of the trumpets and the horns as the angels fly. People, look at all of that Renaissance art, and it can be equated to this. And then whatever you do, don't miss the messages like this here. When you see individuals of color draped in a snake skin and pointing up, meaning that through the embodiment, through the cover, they were covenant in that of reptilian genes, contaminated, altered, and their genes wiped out. That's what this is all about, people. That's what it's all been about. And this is the reason why when you look at the monkeys, implications of monkeys playing typewriters that have color designs on the typewriter of that of the Jackson 5 clothing, and the monkey is typing ABC, and he did put D, but the D is stuff trailed off down at the bottom past that. The message is ABC. When you see stuff like that there, people, and I guess that's it. I guess that's it for now. Let me go to my mailbox, and then I'm gonna close this video out. I'm gonna go to my mailbox once again. So I'm gonna close everything out. All right, we're gonna close that out. We're gonna close that out. I'm gonna see if I can get that cross up and go back to my mailbox. And we're gonna go out of there. Let me cover this up for 1 minute, because I got names up there. I'm covering this up for 1 minute, people. Hold on. Is that the cross? Nope. Hold on, people. Look at this for a minute. That's all you have to do is look at that while I'm looking for a cross. I'm looking for a cross. I don't have it. I don't have it there. Here's another. Let me bring this back up. Okay, here's another mirrored image of that image over there. Let me move this over. There's another mirrored image right there of that Beatles+Revolver album cover. And look at how this creates the image from, I believe it's like almost like Womalian kids, and this has war helmets on, almost like Otter Dix's trench warfare painting. And you have these like Cambodian children here with their helmets on. And look at this. This is all from the Revolver album, people. This is a mirrored image. Look at this. Look at the cauldron. Look at the cauldron here. This is the cauldron. Look, this is a flask. Look at this. And then another one turned down upside. Look at this. This is a mirrored image of the Beatles+Revolver album. Now, I didn't even get to the cross yet. This is another image. And my buddy Mike, here, I'm going to put this back up there because I'm going to my mailbox. And I have things up there that we don't need for you to be seeing. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to see if I can find the cross for you, because that's what I'm trying to find right now. I believe that this is it here. And yes, there's the cross. Now check this out. This is, again, people, is the Revolver album cover, a mirrored overlaid image. And what you do is, when you get the download app, start from the center with like a protractor type turn, and when you turn, it produces the images, the mirrored images of what is the underlining message of these Beatles album covers. Here's a cross. First of all, look at this guy here. There's a monkey. He's holding his hand up. He's coming up. He's crossed, showing he's between two Beatles. His hand comes out. His arm is bent up. Comes out bent up. There's a bird on each arm. There's a bird head, and then there's a monkey there in the middle. Sword-like coming up. Okay, so it's two more heads sacrificed into that, coming up to the bottom of a cross. Cross branches out. There's other beings there, and then look at the beetle face up there. Look up top there, and tell me that doesn't make you sick. Look at this, and this is what your Beatles is all about. On the backs of Great Britain, on kingships and queenships of Great Britain. Now all you have to do with this is, since Google's at your fingertips, I guarantee you, without me even saying anything, I bet you that they have been to Rome. There you go. I bet you that they have been to Rome. I bet you'll see where they were honored. I wouldn't be surprised if their damn paintings weren't hung in friggin' in the Vatican museum. I swear, it wouldn't doubt me. Look at this. Listen. In fact, here is a bird, an eagle. I'm seeing here. Let me get this right. This creates like a bird here. I can see the bird's body here. There's the bird's head, and then there's the wings there coming back in. There's the bird's head, the strangest looking bird that I ever seen, almost looking like a cross between, I can't even say, but almost between a bird and a cat. Can you see that, people? Reminds me of my Grand Canyon discovery a little bit. But look at this. Look at this. The Revolver Beatle album cover. Now this is from the 60s. So what in the damn hell is they being able to do this stuff? Oh, there's monkeys' faces here too on either end. Yeah, and then here, if you look there, chin, mouth, nose, yeah, right here too. Shows you a breakdown in the genes. Right here. My name is Jerome Wright. I done had enough of this stuff. This is making me sick. To the Jackson family, I know y'all like suing people. Here. Now you have a real reason to sue, because the Beatles show in their albums covers how y'all children were subjected to a genetic contamination. And it's all described in the artwork of the album covers. And this is what happened to your dear Michael. Probably, I'm almost at this point convinced that he was murdered. Yeah. Why was he murdered? The motive for it is because it's my position that what Mike subjected himself to as a kid, he was supposed to bring his children to the table as well. Because those babies were not his. They were genetically created babies that actually came through that of the help of ancient rooted royalty, who Michael was subjected to, and ancient rooted religion. They genetically contaminated Michael. So Michael illnesses that he had, all of them. Passions, fetishes, all of that stuff was created through the likes of what is all behind this, and what is behind the Vatican, and what is behind ancient rooted religion and ancient rooted royalty. See all of my videos, people, here. Get a better understanding of what is going on. And in fact, I see what's in the wings here. There's a bird here. I don't know if you can see that good. Oh, I'm all the way over here. You can't even. Where am I? Right there? Oh, there's my finger right there. Alright, let me show you something what is here. There's a bird figure right here. You see it? There's his torso. His legs coming down. The wings come out into the hair. You see that right there, people? You with me? Here, on either side of that bird creature, which has his open mouth with one tooth right there, they're baboons. There's the bottom chin. There's the mouth. There's the nostril. Here's coming across the bridge of the nose. At the eye, forehead area, over top of the forehead. An elongated forehead. Right there. There's one on this side. And then on the other side, it's the same thing. The bottom of the chin area. The teeth area. Going over the nose. Going over the bridge of the nose. The long elongated forehead. The eyes here. And all of the strong defining face features right there. And let me see if I can come in. Oh, I'm all the way adjusted up. You can. I just did that for you. Let me see. Make sure you got that. Yeah. Okay. There's the monkey's face right there on the other side. That's a baboon. And it's created in the wings of a bird. All of that. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. And other symbolizations here in the body of the bird. So, but 4 defining creatures that I can actually see just right there. And it's a totem pole which shows a cross at the end, and it shows one of the Beatles' faces up there at the top of the cross, and shows all of these other faces. Oh, you got that face, that Beatle face up? Is it there? Where? Right? Where we at with this? Oh, this is that face at the top of the cross. At the top of the cross there. I'm gonna back out of this right now. At the top of the cross, you have that beetle. Here's the cross. The cross, remember, people, for the first time ever, I told you, it means the cross-referencing of mankind's beings in genetics. That's what that means. People, we have a problem. There's people that know how to genetically alter mankind's being in existence. This has nothing to do with God. This has nothing to do with nothing divine. This is a sickness in the minds of people that had sold themselves to us as ancient rooted religion and ancient rooted royalty. They have turned this thing into something divine for you, and it is nothing no more or less than described as that of a cult-like scenario, like witchcraft, like cult practices, sacrifices which involve semen and blood. They have just glorified it in a way for you and allow a select few to bring it to you in the world. So behind the walls of religion, religion hides behind this. Ancient rooted royalty hides behind this. They let these people go out and do their dirty work. And then these people report back to them. They have an enjoyment of life where, and you pay for it all. You make your donations to these churches. You pay taxes. These people are tax exempt and everything. They're immune to everything. They don't even go to the same hospital you go to. When you have a baby, you go to a regular hospital. They use your money and your tax dollars and your money to go to a specialized hospital that they done built for themselves. They don't even have to give blood. You don't have to even know what their blood type is, but yet you're the ones that support them. Go figure that the fuck out. That's crazy. I'm telling you right now, people, y'all need to wake up because you are in some serious damn trouble. This is from like 1960, and look at what is here. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you for sending me this. I was just on the Michael Jackson thing with the typewriter and the monkey, and you sent me this just in the nick of time for this video. So I appreciate you. In fact, I look like I see dicks. I always find dicks in these things too. There's a dick on the end right here too. Monkey dick. Yeah. Showing you that these guys they had to sacrifice themselves on the black dick. That's what this is all about. I hope it wasn't you, Michael, but they got y'all in there. So one of the Jackson 5, I put that picture up there in the last video. Y'all tell me who it is. If y'all know who that Jackson is, somebody posted here and says, y'all know who that Jackson is. At that point, I don't know if it was Michael or not. It looked like an older Jackson, but it looked like one of, I would like to think it was probably would be this Jackson here because it had that Jackson in the shirt. But from what it's worth, they might have contaminated multiple Jacksons. So y'all know, y'all were in this scenario. If y'all was in this, if y'all can recollect one of those Beatles trying to play with y'all dick in the closet or in the bathroom when y'all went to go urinate out on one of y'all tours, then this is the reason why. They were trying to lure you in, get your blood and get your semen. That's what this was all about. They got your brother Michael because they got it here encrypted into the artwork. So I don't know if they got any other y'all. If y'all need to come forward and expose this shit because this is some sick stuff here. My name is Jerome Wright. You're watching my Jerome Wright channel. And Beatles, Ancient Rooted Religion, Royalty, I don't give a damn about y'all, as y'all obviously see. I'm having a genuine paranormal experience and encounter, and I'm covenanted in that. Thank you. Jerome Wright here once again, and once again you're joining me on my Jerome Wright YouTube channel. Okay, in this video, I'm going to be decoding through my paranormal experience and encounter the Yellow Submarine Beatles album cover. Okay. As we all know that anytime I tune into something to bring you a video, it is actually referencing that of an ancient cult-like scenario where a cauldron-like process takes place where it's actually talking about a melting pot down of existing genes and creating of new genes. Okay. For example, in this Beatle, Yellow Submarine's album cover, which is very controversial, and I like dealing with controversial stuff, by the way. It actually details how mankind was genetically altered from a certain point, and then they contributed to the process and then went about to the locations that they went to genetically contaminate others. I know it sounds kind of, see that? That's bone marrow stem cells there. Look at these. Look at the stem cells. Look at this, people. Look at the concept and the idea of it. And then look at the Yellow Submarine. Look at this. Look at the blood. Look all of this, people. Look here. Then the strands with the bulb on the head. No submarine has no forward telescope. I mean, telescopes. This has 4. So I'm gonna go to another image. Hold on, people, because it gets better. Now those bulbs at the top, these are created stem cells. To give you an idea, and I have some other stem cells I'm gonna bring in too. See how these little bulbs on the end, they have like a mouth on them and they're holding like a little egg on the end right there. Right there. Well, people, that's the same thing that is here. Oh, if I can get that. That is not no. Look, you got one hand here, white hand pointing in, blue hand here pointing in, I'm in. And then you got this other blue hand down here pointing in, I'm in. And then the black hand is pointing up saying, I'm out. So what is there not to understand about that? It's a genetic cocktail of altering our genes from their original origins, which calls for later likenesses of our Caucasian counterparts. these people are no difference. It's in fact that anybody that is famous, and then they start making these bizarre images and bizarre music, they are all guilty of the same thing. And this is why I can take down any icon in the world based on my findings. And I haven't even got to the Yellow Submarine yet. We're going to get that in 1 minute. But, you know, it's amazing that people pretend not to see this, and then it's there. It's right in your face. Let me talk to you about the Yellow Submarine, because that's a unique vessel. It is a vessel in itself, people. It is a vessel, okay? A vessel that travels in liquid mass. Here's another close-up of it on paper there. Okay, I'm going to bring it up in paper, give you an idea. All right. Now, what is that Yellow Submarine representing? Well, if they're guilty as charged, which they are, because it's about mixing of colors. You see one of his pants legs is white and the other one is brown. They're saying that they bridged over with our ape and African ancestors. This is what this is all about. And so they're telling you that they genetically altered themselves. So this Yellow Submarine, which is very famous one, becomes a genetic altering device. Is they're talking about this being a vessel of change, of genetic change. So all you have to do from there is, and hold on before we go there. All you have to do from there is here's another picture of that of that Yellow Submarine again up close. I printed all these pictures, so I might as well. So, what is the Yellow Submarine representing? The Yellow Submarine represents stem cells. Here's bone marrow stem cells here. Kind of impossible, but you know, in these scenarios, you know, this here, if you look at it, it kind of reminds you of something dealing with, you listen, the Last Supper. You always have two sides, and it shows you how you got an animal and a witch-like woman, by the way, here on a pig's body. You see that almost looking like an African woman, an African witch woman, but she's blue, got the marks on her face, and a pig representing the woman pulling this guy along. And this here is the captain. He's got his hand pointing that way. Okay, that's on this side. Now, when we come over to this side over here, we got a hand pointing in. And then what's interesting is you have this man of color image, okay? And you see him covenant with the genetics of the reptile, the reptilian. This represents the snake. And he's there, and what is he doing? He's pointing upward, like they do in a lot of your religious Renaissance images. He's pointing upward. You know what that's indicating? That there's a genetic brew, a genetic cocktail here. And there's an extraction of the black gene, which is taken out. And that's why this guy is standing there, man of color at this point. That's why he's standing there and stating, I'm out of this. Everybody else is pointing in. I'm in. I'm in. Over here, I'm in. I'm in. Down